Good morning, everyone, brothers and sisters. I hope everyone's doing well, staying healthy. It's good to talk to you guys again. I just wanted to get on here and share with you um, a quick testimony of what happened to me. It was last summer. So there was some questions that I had regarding a few of my family members, a couple of them, and then also, other questions I had about a couple of other things. And they're kind of personal, so I won't get into what I specifically was asking him for, except for this one thing. But regarding my family members, I'll keep that private. But so, anyways, my first situation or case or something that happened to me that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. Was I needed confirmation on something, and it was regarding a family member, and I really had something I just needed confirmation on regarding this member of the family. And so I prayed to God and I asked him to just to give me confirmation, and I ended up asking him if this was true, what I'm talking about, if this confirmation, and the answer is true, then to bring me a feather. And so I don't hardly ever see feathers. If I do, they're just once in a blue moon, here and there. And it had been a long time since I had seen a feather. So I asked him to bring me a feather, and I asked him to do this, within a week, so that I wouldn't brush it off later on thinking it was just a coincidence. And so I went the rest of my day, no feathers or anything like that. I went the rest of my day working, went home, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I get in my car and I'm on my way to work. And this is something that I brushed off at first, but then I thought about it later on and I was like, wait a minute. But I was on my way to work and I was pulling out of my driveway, and there was like 50 birds in my yard. And you guys don't know where I live, but I live I live in the city, but it's in a cul-de-sac, and surrounding me is nothing but trees in my backyard and on the side of each of my house. And the front yard doesn't have any trees. It's just a clear front yard, but I do have a lot of trees, and the results of that is that I have a lot of squirrels. There are squirrels all over my property. And so I rarely ever see birds in my yard, rarely ever. And it's because I have so many squirrels. I mean, just sitting right here, I've seen like 3 squirrels. So, so I just never had birds in my yard. And then that morning when I woke up, the very next morning, there was like 50 birds in my yard. And at first I brushed it off thinking it was nothing. I actually, as I was pulling away, I stopped and I was like, wait a minute, what are all those birds being in there? And then it didn't hit me until a few hours later when I was, talking to God and contemplating that was probably my confirmation from God. Those were the feathers that I requested, was all, the feathers on all those birds. And but I also still had a little bit of doubt. I thought, yeah, I never see birds in my yard, but was that really from God? So I ended up asking God to confirm again, because this is a generation of, we ask for confirmations all the time. So I asked for another confirmation that the birds was in fact, that. And so, so what happened was the next day, and again, I asked him to confirm this within the next few days. Within the next week. I said within the next week. Can you confirm that was it? And so the next day, I get up, go to work, and I'm getting ready to walk into my office building. And right before I walked into the back door, which we have many people that work in this building, and everyone had to have just walked over it. But there was a feather right there on the threshold, right as I was getting ready to go in the back door. And so I picked the feather up, and I actually have the feather. It was this one. So I kept it, and I still have it. So, and I always just carry it with me right here. And so I picked it up, and that was like the very next day when I asked him to confirm again. And it was right there in front of me as I'm walking in the building. Like I said, many people had walked over this feather and no one had picked it up, or it hadn't blown away or anything. And it was just there waiting for me, I felt like. So I thought, okay, this is my confirmation. This is within 24 hours. Not only did I get a feather, but I got a very large feather. And so that was my confirmation. But to make things even more, bizarre, but amazing, is that the next 2 days in a row, I found a feather. I found my second feather on the threshold once again, right before I'm getting ready to walk in my back door to my work. Right there again, so many people just passed it on by, and it was right there in front of my feet. I didn't even notice it at first, and I just looked down, and because I sometimes I'll look down when I walk, and I almost stepped on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's another feather. So I picked it up, and that's at my office right now. I kept that one at work. But then the very next day, so this is the third day in a row now. So the very next day, I went to work. Everything was good. Had a good day, and then I came home, and on the threshold of my front door to my house, there's another feather. And so I have that too. I kept that. So that was just confirmation to me. There was just no doubt at that point. That was God talking to me. He was confirming over and over again. So within a week, there was like 50 birds in my yard, which is unheard of. You just don't see that in my yard with all the squirrels that I have. And then on top of that, for the next 3 days following, I found a feather on the threshold right before I'm getting ready to go into my office building or my home. So excuse me. So that was confirmation for me, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was pretty awesome. And then about a week later, I wanted to put it to the test. And I know I shouldn't test thy God. I know I shouldn't do that. He says not to do that. But I also know that my Father loves me very, very much, and he wants me to have faith in him and believe in him. And he wants me to be happy and to get my answers. So I know that he was willing to forgive me for asking again. And so I did. I asked for another confirmation. And this time it was about another family member. I asked if he could bring me a frog. I know. I hadn't seen any frogs at all last summer. I hadn't seen any up to that point. It was about the end of summer, and I hadn't seen not one. So I was like, okay, bring me a frog. Surely if I went all summer without seeing any, if I see a frog, within the next 3 days, I'm gonna take that from you, God. I'm gonna take that was your confirmation to me again. And so I asked him, within 3 days, could you send me a frog? And so I go to work, and I have a good day again, and I come home, and this was the very same day. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this was the very same day I asked for a frog. And so I went to work that morning, because I talk to God all the time. So at mornings, mid-afternoon, at lunch, dinner, I talk to him all the time. And so that morning I was talking to him, and it was that same day. I went to work, everything was good, came home, and I noticed my brother-in-law was in my backyard, and he was mowing. And I was like, oh, yay, the yard's getting mowed. Thanks for doing that, And so I go inside, and I sit down, and I'm, just doing things around the house. I did a few things when I first got inside, and then I sat down, and I was getting ready to, I was contemplating on what to cook for dinner. I think that's what it was. And the next thing I know, my brother-in-law comes walking into the house from the backyard, and he's got this huge frog. I mean, it is huge, probably the biggest frog I have seen in years. And he brought this frog in this red Solo cup because he wanted to show me how big it was. It was amazing. I was flabbergasted. I was stunned. I was moved. You know, God was, he's talking to me. He's talking to me. He talks to all of us, you know. And there was no doubt that that was confirmation. Once again, he was confirming. And it was just it was such an elated feeling. Not only knowing that God is, out of all the 7 billion people in the world, he's talking to me. You know, oh my gosh, he must love me so much to give me confirmation on just those few questions I asked, you know. And it was just amazing feeling. And then also the confirmations that I requested from him, you know, they're personal, so I won't get into it, but it was regarding a couple family members, and it was just such a wonderful feeling hearing from God what I was hoping to hear. So it was a great outcome both rounds. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Now this is the third confirmation, and this is pretty big. So I this one I guess I can tell you. Oh wait, no, I apologize. I can't tell you this one. This is a little bit more personal. The very first confirmation, the very first one with the feathers, I had actually asked God about angels. I'd asked God if there really are angels among us, all around us, you know. I think I asked, is there at least 2 or more with each person? Yeah, that's what I asked. So that very first confirmation with the birds and then the 3 feathers was a yes. I asked him, if this is true, then please do this, and he did. So yeah, we have angels with us all the time. 2 or more, you know, maybe multiples, I don't know, but we do have angels. So that's what God confirmed to me. The second confirmation with the frog, I won't go into that. And then the third confirmation, which I'm getting ready to tell you, it was, let's see. So there had been some questions that I had about the Bible. Yeah, actually, I can't tell you this one. There had been some questions I had about the Bible. And, you know, there was just a few things that I thought I wasn't fully understanding, and I thought that they were kind of contradictory. Sorry, I can't speak. And I just needed confirmation that what I was reading was true, and that I would, you know, and wanted to be able to interpret it correctly. And so one of my questions was is the Bible true to its fullest? And, you know, and then asked for interpretation. So that was my confirmation, was regarding the Bible. So the Bible, I had asked God, and this is the biggest confirmation that he's given me, and I'm not surprised that it was regarding the Bible, although I did ask for something very specific. So now all these confirmations I'm getting are all within a week. Okay, this was like a week and a half, 2 weeks the tops. Like I was doing them back to back, and so, you know, I was on a roll, and so was God and his answering. So anyways, I ended up asking for confirmation on the Bible, and this time I asked him to bring me a stranger. I did. I asked him to bring me a stranger, and so I asked him, and this was on a Friday. Yeah, I believe it was on a Friday, and I asked him to bring me a stranger before the end of the weekend was over with. This was a Friday at work that I think I was on a break, so it was earlier on Friday that I asked this, and I asked him to bring me a stranger before the end of the weekend. And you know, it could be any stranger, I don't care who it is, but have them come up to me and start talking to me about God and the Bible and the truth and his word. And so Friday night I was exhausted after work, so I ended up just going home, and I didn't go out or do anything, so I just went home for the night. So there wasn't really an opportunity there. And then Saturday, I ended up getting up, and I did a few things and went out to do a couple errands, but nothing happened. And, you know, I was kind of busy on Saturday, so it had slipped my mind. what I had asked for, so I wasn't really thinking of it. And then on Sunday, me and my husband, we went out to a couple of stores. And we went to Marshall's. I love Marshall's. We went to Marshall's and got a couple things, and then we needed to run by Walmart afterwards. So we were in the car, and Marshall's and Walmart, the distance between the two is maybe a mile and a half, not very far. So we had left Marshall's and we were on our way to Walmart, and that's when I had remembered what I had asked God to confirm. And I started praying right there. My husband's in the passenger seat. I'm sitting here driving, and we're on our way to Walmart, and I just start praying. And I told God, I was like, God, it's Sunday. The weekend's almost over with. Are you going to bring me a stranger? Because, I need to know that your word is the truth. And so I was praying this in my mind, and I was like, please, God, please bring me a stranger. Because I didn't want to think that all these years I had been wrong. So I really wanted that confirmation. It was important to me. And obviously it was important to him. So anyways, we go to Walmart and we head straight back to like the cosmetic area, which is next to the pharmacy area. No, I apologize. We go back to the pet area. Yeah, we're getting dog food and stuff. And then so right next to that though is like the cosmetic area. So while my husband is grabbing dog food and stuff like that, I walk a few aisles down to the cosmetics, and I was looking at some fingernail polish, I think, or something like that. And my husband comes up to me and he's like, "You about ready to go?" And the next thing I know, this beautiful woman, such a lovely person, walks up to me, and she asks me, "Do you believe in God?" I was stunned. I just stopped talking. I just looked at her, and first I was shocked because, gosh, I go to Walmart all the time. I've always shopped at Walmart. I probably go to Walmart like 3 times a week, 2, something like that. And I've never had anyone approach me at Walmart about God. I've never had anyone approach me at Walmart about God. Never. And so I was shocked that she was even coming up to me. And at first it hadn't clicked yet, because I had done got my mind on this worldly things, makeup, food. And so I hadn't clicked yet. And then I was like, yeah, I do. And, I told her I'm a major believer, and I love God, and I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and that he was resurrected after 3 days, and then she's, and then she and then she says, "Do you read the Bible?" And that's when I got completely quiet. I couldn't even answer her because that's when it clicked. That's when it reminded me of my prayer 20 minutes prior. And because remember, on my prayer, I had asked God, I mentioned to God, the weekend's almost over with. Are you going to bring me a stranger? So that was like 15-20 minutes prior. And then here some woman is walking up to me at Walmart in the cosmetic aisle, asking me about if I believe in God, and then asking me if I read the Bible. And then I'm stunned, and I'm not talking at this point. I'm just staring at her, and I think she could tell that I was stunned. And so she immediately starts talking again about how the Bible is true, and how it is so important to learn the Bible and read God's words, that it's our instruction manual, and just on and on and on about all these, amazing things about the Bible and Jesus Christ and the Lord. And I got emotional. And I couldn't talk. All I could do was just stare at her. I probably looked crazy. I was wide-eyed, and it was amazing. I knew right then and there that God was answering my questions, and that he was confirming to me that the Bible is true. And sorry, I get a little emotional thinking about it. But he it was just amazing. And she just, keeps staring at me, like, and it's weird because, like, my husband kept looking at me weird because I wasn't talking. So he kept jumping in and talking with her, you know, and at one point I think he even shoved me a little bit, like, why aren't you talking? I don't know if he thought I was being rude or what. I'm sure it seemed like that, but he is talking to her. He is the one talking to her. I'm not saying a word. And then, but yet, and she's responding to him, but the entire time she is staring at me. I don't even know if she looked at him once. So he's talking, asking questions, and you know, and then she's talking to him, but her eyes are focused directly on me. She will not look away from me. And I knew that she was specifically there for me. And at the very end, you know, she stops talking, and I finally find my voice, and I said, I'm sorry to you know, to ask such a question, but why did you come up to me and start talking to me about this? And she said, excuse me, she said, God put it, she basically said, God put it in my spirit to talk to you. This is what I do. I prophesize in Jesus' names to people. And just now, God put it in my spirit to come talk to you. Oh my goodness, the feeling that I had, it was such an elated feeling. I was so happy and shocked, but happy and just blessed. I just felt so blessed, you know, that God was listening to me, and it was just so amazing. It was just amazing. So, you know, she walked away. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find my words again. I ended up getting her phone number. I asked her what her phone number is. Her name's Mariah, beautiful name. She, you know, had her husband and her children down the end of the aisle, and they were just sitting there patiently. Like, you could tell she's done this. And they didn't even question what she was doing. Like, they already knew. So I could just tell their family was amazing, and the husband was very understanding. And it was just, oh my goodness, it was just a wonderful experience. But yeah, I ended up getting her phone number, and that's, you know, she ended up walking away, and then me and my husband start walking away, and that's when he asked, he was like, what's wrong with you? Why weren't, you know, you're acting weird? And that's when I went in and told him, and he was shocked himself. He couldn't believe it. He was like, what? And so, and he told me, he was like, Tara, that's confirmation. You can't ignore that. That was God talking to you. And I totally agree. I completely agree. That was confirmation from God. He was talking to me. God does that. He talks to all of us. He talks to me, and you know, it's up to us to recognize when he's talking. I mean, he talks to us through the scriptures in the Bible. So important to get into those scriptures. But he talks to us through the scriptures. He talks to us through the Spirit. He talks to us in our hearts. Like, God always talks to us, and ever since then, like, God talks to me. He does. I mean, you know, it may not be always that physical voice that we're used to hearing in, you know, in this physical world, but I can hear him in the spirit. I know that God talks to me, and I know that he's with me. And I just wanted to come on here and share those 3 confirmations with you. I actually have some more things that had happened that I'll share in another video, so you should subscribe, because I've got, you know, good things coming. Important things. Some of it's kind of scary, but you know, it's something that we all need to know. But yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to get on there and share that with you guys. I'll never forget that, ever. It was such an amazing experience. And that's the thing, you know, God is here in the Spirit. His Holy Spirit is here. And so ask God for confirmation, and ask him in a way that he can respond to you in the Spirit, you know, or talk to you to your spirit through his Spirit. So like, and that's why I asked what I had asked, because the very first confirmation I asked for was the birds, the feathers. And he gave me the 50 birds that were in my yard. He gave me 3 feathers every day after that, you know. And I had done that because it was out of the blue that I asked for a feather. It wasn't something that I thought of previously. I just asked for confirmation, and I knew he needed to respond in the Spirit or through scripture. And so I specifically asked him for a feather. And once he confirmed that with the feather, that's when I knew, okay, I can ask God for confirmations through the Spirit. And so he can respond through the Spirit, you know? That's when I started thinking, okay, well, what's another way I can ask him to respond through the Spirit? A frog. Another way that he can respond through the Spirit. A person, a stranger. So yeah, that's, you know, I encourage everyone, if you have any questions, if you need confirmations on anything, ask God to give you confirmation. He will. He is willing to give you confirmation on anything that you need to know. And, you know, He's going to give you those answers. And it's up to you, though, to pay attention to those responses, to pay attention and to open your heart to and receive them. Or you will brush them off and they'll pass by you and you won't know. So, but yeah, I just want to get on here and share that with you guys. I hope I didn't mess up with my words too much or take too much of your time, but I just really wanted to share that experience with you guys. So those 3 experiences. So again, talk to God, ask for confirmation. He's willing to confirm. Okay, ask him in ways to respond through the Spirit or scripture or something of that nature. But he is there, he's listening, he always is. He loves you so much. And I love you too, and I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll be posting another video soon, so don't forget to subscribe and like. But I just hope everyone has a great day, okay? And I love you guys so much. I do. I love you all. You're my brothers and sisters, and I'm so blessed to be here with everyone. So just take it easy. Don't forget to say your prayers, okay? Ask God to confirm if you have questions. I love you all. God bless. Bye-bye.